Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from Stylish.com. Thank you very much for joining me today. Tiny little bit late because I took the card downstairs to show my brother, and just as I was about to go live I realised the card was still sitting downstairs on the arm of the chair. And that's why I'm a little bit out of breath, because I decided to take the steps on the way up like 3 at a time. Thank you all for joining me. How's your weekend been going? I'm just going to have a look and find you all on my iPad so I can keep along with any comments. Hope you're all okay and have had fun. Hi Colleen, yay! Right time. Hi Karen, hope you're okay, lovely to see you. Hi Audrey. Hello Kay, hi everybody, hi Alison. Oh, we got a whole load of Stampin' bells on here today. Hi Janet, hope you're okay. Right, so we're doing a floating card today. This is one of my favourite cards to make because it looks all 3D. So all these little bits on here all stand up. So I'm going to put my hand underneath them. And I think they're quite clean and quite cute. So I think it's lovely. And I learned something yesterday. I say I learned something. We were on stage and everybody had decorated their envelopes that was presenting. And so I decorated mine because I realised I never decorate the envelopes. I just pop the cards I've made into plain envelopes. So I've made the card, I coloured it all in, and then created the envelope. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would do this for like bulk creating. I'm going to show you a few different types of doing floating cards. Hi everyone who's just joined. Hi Belinda. Hi Deborah. Hi Shirley, hope you're okay. Good morning to you over in the States. So I'm using the Beautiful Autumn stamp set just here. This is one of my favourites. I got this late. I was late to the party with it, but oh, it's making up for it. It comes with these really cute, tiny, teensy little punches. And they're adorable. I mean, they're hand size, really easy to use, and you can just punch them out as you go. So I already have a load already done. Okay, but I'm going to show you how I do it. And I'm using the acorn, the pine cone, this leaf up here, and I'm not sure which one it is. I know we have a tree in the park that has this leaf, but when I went to an arboretum last year, there was these Japanese sort of acers, I think they were called, and they had leaves like this and they were bright red. So I've made my leaves red to match those. Showing my botanist skills here. And then this one here, which I think is an oak tree leaf. And this one here. Oh, Karen's saying maple. Maybe it was a Japanese maple. It was a bright red leaf anyway. It was so pretty. I've got a picture of it somewhere. Well, I've got about 10 million pictures because if I see something pretty, I can't stop taking photos. Hi, Sue. Hope you're okay. So I'm using Memento ink because I'm using my blends. And what I'm actually doing, even though this stamp set is a fill-in stamp set, so if I show you what I mean, these dark bits here will fill in the actual stamp. So if I just grab, which colour shall I grab to show you? If I grab Mossy Meadow, for instance, and my oak leaf, oh, everybody, by the way, I've been naughty. You know, the past few weeks, months, I mentioned that I put everything that I used to use for my workshops in the loft because I wouldn't be having workshops. So I had minimised the amount of blocks I had to make sure that I definitely clean them and put them away and hide it up after myself. Well, as I might have mentioned, I will be moving soon. So I went up in the loft And I bought down all the blocks and now I have hundreds. And I have absolutely no idea why, but I'm looking at my YouTube and it keeps going blurry. And I think it's the autofocus on the camera. So I'm really sorry about that. But I will try and go slowly so everything I say is in focus. But yeah, so this stamp set has these fill-in stamps. So you could quite easily fill your leaf in with the ink. And I mean, you could do the outline. And then you could just use the second generation stamp as well. So it's really simple. If you don't have blends, if you're not a blendy person, you can use the Infill stamps on this one. I'm a blendy person, so I'm going with blends, and I'll show you which colours I use to put these together. I know a couple of my friends that are on this call aren't blendy people, so I think they'd be glad to know that they can fill it in without the blends. I think it's weird. I love the blends. Hi, Janice. Hope you're okay. Kay's laughing. It's Kay at Paper Craft Skies. She makes these really, really gorgeous, sort of more grey based cards, really subtle. And they're beautiful, all with different inks, but no blends. Very confusing. Do you know what I think it might be? I think it might be my t-shirt, my jumper maybe. Let's just... No, it can't be that because it's whenever I bring my arm out, it goes blurry. Which is very, very strange. So, anyway, I had 4. Oh, yes, my maple leaf that Karen told me it was. I'll see if I can find a picture of the tree that I mean. And I'll pop a picture in Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout so you can see which one I mean. But it was bright, bright red. So for the maple leaf, I have used the cherry cobbler and the light cherry cobbler with the light so saffron. For blends, while it's nice that you use a light and dark of the same colour, you don't have to blend different colours together. It's quite nice. So I'm just popping the cherry cobbler in the centre. So it's like that, and this is where I want it to autofocus. And bring it back down, and hopefully that will stop doing it because it's sending my eyes giddy at the side. I'm sorry if it's sending yours giddy. Oh, thanks, Clean. Yeah, there was quite a few of us and quite a few on this call that got recognition on stage. And recognition on stage was on Thursday night for us. So I sat down in the chair, and we've got those recliner chairs where you can put your feet up. So I put the feet up. Noble jumped across my legs, and every time I saw the name of a demo that I knew, I cheered really loudly, and my legs obviously moved. And the poor dog just kept jumping up and down like, what? But it was very strange being distant this year. It's so lovely to look across at people when they get recognised and clap to them, but I understand. It is what it is. So for the oak leaf, I'm using the dark old olive, and I'm just going up the centre like that. And then I'm using the light pumpkin pie. I tell you, I'm mixing colours all over the place today. But that's what autumn is, isn't it? It's all of the leaves just changing colour. So I've popped the pumpkin pie over the old olive, and then I have got dark so saffron, and I'm just going to take all of it, go over the whole lot and push it out. But you're going to need to get sort of enough to fill the card, but like I said, I'm going to do 2 or 3 cards with you today that will all use these, so play along with whichever ones you like, but keep remembering the more you have, the better it's going to be, rather than keep having to top up as you go through. For this leaf here, I have got the light old olive and the dark mossy meadow, which you wouldn't have thought normally go together, but they really do. And I'm just popping the dark mossy meadow up the spine, and then the light old olive over the whole leaf. And what I've actually done on my table, so that I remember which colours are which, is I've lined all my blends up like that. Then I've put the stamp that they correlate with there, and then I've started lining my next blends up like that. So as I'm mass creating, I can see exactly which colour's going with which, and to me that makes it so much easier for me. Otherwise I get confused and everything ends up all different colours. So for the pine cone, I've got light and dark soft suede, and with the dark, I'm going up there, and then with a line I'm picking up around the side, and I'm going to push the dark out. Thanks, Audrey. It's you next time. Audrey hit a promotion this week, so next on stage it will be Audrey. And then the acorn. I tell you what, Janice, it seemed so weird not picking you up from the airport. I'm Janice's chauffeur when we go to on stage. She catches the plane down from Scotland and I meet her at the airport, her and a lovely lady called Karen, and drive them to on stage. We have so many giggles. So for the acorn, I've used the bronze marker. So you can get the bronze and ivory together in the catalogue. So I've used the bronze. And just done half of the top part of the acorn. And then I've used the dark cinnamon cider just to add even more depth and just go round the outside of that bit. And then the dark crumb cake to colour the whole thing in. I'm going over the dark bit and the light bit with that, so that hopefully you can see it gets a real shadow on it. I'm really hoping that shows up clearly. And then this is the ivory blend, and look, my nib's got really tatty because I keep colouring my ribbon. The thick part of the blend, I had this question the other day actually, the thick part of the blend helps you get more ink onto the card, whereas the bullet, you don't get as much ink come on the card, but you can decorate and line things a lot better. You can target areas a lot better. So I'm just going to, how messy is that? Just a blob in the middle of colour. Then I'm going to use the light crumb cake all the way to the edge to make sure there's no white, and then over the whole lot with light soft sea foam, so it just makes it a little bit sort of green. But you don't have to get all of these looking exactly the same, because you know it's nature. You could put a big bruise or a bit where a squirrel's got it or anything. So that's all of those, and then I've kept them close to the edge so I can go along and punch them all out. So I have now got a load of pine cones, a load of little leaves, a load of my bright red leaves, my oak leaves, and my little acorns. And these are fairy cake silicone molds, I suppose they are. They're what you do your fairy cakes in, and I always like them when I do mass stamping because I can keep everything quite contained in one place. So that's how I keep those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one card that's very similar to this. So I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is 10.2 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters. So it sits on the card, but only just, there's just a little lip. It's flush on that end, and then there's just a little gap each side round. Okay, so that's going to be the one piece I do. But I've also got somewhere there, a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got my big circle punch. So my 2 1/4 inch circle punch. So what I'm going to do with my scrap cardstock is I'm going to cut this one. So this will make another card. And then I also have a piece of Whisper White that is 3 inches by 3 inches square. So that will make a third card. All using the same technique, but all different cards. And this one will be this one. Okay. So I'm going to pop those to the side because I'm going to do those after, and I'm going to do this one first. And I've got just a very, very scrap piece of Whisper White here, which I'm going to do the happy birthday on. So this is from the Well Said stamp set. It's a 2-piece stamp. It's amazing. Actually, it's got every sentiment on I think you could want. And if it doesn't, you can actually stamp, and there's enough gap between the sentences to just cut that word out and then piece together what you want. Sort of like that, where you have one word on a line. So you can pretty much make any phrase with all of these. But I've got happy and I've got birthday. And the tip I will give you, if you have this set, is there is a lot of stamps. There's 51 stamps. And I get confused at the best of times with organisations. So I've actually kept it identical to the front. So I actually took the front out. You can do that. You just pull the front out and I line them in the box in the same place. So thoughts belated for you, hello and sending is thoughts belated for you, hello and upside down sending. But I can now look at the front and know exactly where they are inside, and I can also tell which ones are missing and which ones I haven't put back. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp both of those onto my Whisper White cardstock. Oh, Audrey, that'll be a great week. You'll have to tell your son, though, even though it's by your son's house, we're going to steal you away. Won't we, Janice? Janice is a really bad influence. She's not. She's great fun. We do have such a laugh. So I'm stamping both of these onto the card. And you'll notice I'm not bothering about being straight at all. Very lazy stamping. And I've actually used the window punch just so that I could get it straight. You know me, my hands shake, so I end up all over the place. So all I want to do is just, I don't really mind how much is either side because I'm going to cut it. But I'm just going to have a gap underneath and a gap at the top. And I'm going to do exactly the same on happy. And even though I've done that in the middle, that's totally by accident. It really doesn't matter because, as you can see, I'm then just going to chop it down. But at least I know it's straight. For anyone with shaky hands, that is a little blessing. So I'm going to line them up together. And I'm going to put the H's, sorry, not H's. I know my alphabet. The Y's in the same place. And pick them up together so that I can see that they're in the same place. And just chop straight up so that when they sit on the edge, they set out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop diagonally on the birthday. And to make sure that my diagonal is straight, I'm going to line the H up with the B. And I now know I've got the same angle and the same shapes. So where are we going on the comments? Oh, Janice, I miss you loads too. Honestly, really do. Such a lovely lady. Yeah, these are invaluable. And the great thing is they just, it doesn't matter how many times they get bumped in a cupboard, they just pop straight back to the same size. It is, anyone who hasn't been to one stage, it's an amazing experience. Even it wasn't the same this year, being sat on the sofa with just me and the TV sort of for company. But at the same time, we're such a good network. We've all got WhatsApp groups and things like that, or Messenger, and it's nice to keep in touch with people, but it's better to see them. Janice has sent a little angel emoji. I don't believe that for 1 second, and neither does Shirley. We both know her. So I'm going to be using a lot of the mini dimensionals. In the catalogue, we have 2 types of dimensionals. We have the big ones, which are amazing. They're my favourite. And then we have these tiny little ones, which can be a bit fiddly, but are much better to use on these sort of projects. So I'm just going to turn them over and whip a mini dimensional onto one at each end. By the way, anyone who's watching who's not a demonstrator and is wondering what On Stage is, it's when the demonstrators all come together, sometimes in the local regions, and once every 3 years we kind of get a live in our area as well, and then you get a load of people come. And it's just a day where you can see the new catalogue, you get to play with new products, you get to see demonstrations from sort of top demos showing you how to demonstrate, and you eat loads of sweets and you have lots of fun, and it's great. I really do enjoy it. The only way you can go is becoming a demo, but if you fancy coming along to an event like that, ask me how you can become a demo, because I'd love to have you join my Stampin' Bells team, all of which appear to be on the call today, and it's lovely to see them all. So what I'm going to do with my birthday is I'm going to go 3 grids up. This is why grid paper is so handy. And I'm just going to line it up and pop it down. Okay, how simple is that with the grid paper? And then I'm going to, these here are 1.5 of the squares. So I'm going to complete the next half and do the next one and just pop that on there like that. Okay, don't worry about the ribbon at all, because the ribbon is the very last thing to add on where there's space, if you can. So I'm just going to grab a few of all of these, and I'm going to pop a mini dimensional, just the one, on the back, and I'm going to do it towards the middle, because you want to have an edge that you can slip the ribbon underneath, and at the same time some of these actually come off the edge, so you want to make sure that the mini dimensional is actually on the card. So if you pop it on the middle, you can then chop it off. That sounds really harsh, isn't it? Chop it off. So Belinda, oh, it was your first time. Yeah, it was great, but I did feel sorry a bit for the people whose first time it was, because when you get to an actual live event, and you will have to go next year, it is, you won't believe, it's like a little circus, I suppose. Over in England, whenever I've been to sort of company type meetings, it's all very reserved, but not this one. No, like I think my first one, we managed to do a conga all the way around the room. It's just so much fun. So yeah, I do get a live experience as well, but they made the best out of a tough situation, I feel, of having to go virtual. Karen, oh, I'll message you about it. You'll have to come to the next one. It's so much fun. Oh, I don't know. Janice has put that she's looking forward to the day that my team meets your team. So my Stampin' Bells meets Janice. Jazzle Dazzle. I know you're Jazzle Dazzle. I'm not sure what your team's called. I feel your team's going to get my team into so much trouble because we're little angels. We're not. So I'm just popping a few on the side and popping the mini dimensionals in the center. just grabbing a few. If you were doing sort of a proper production line, you could line them all up, pop all of the dimensionals on, and then pop them back in here to use, but I'm just going as needed. Now, there's two choices with your floating card with this stamp set. I like white backgrounds. I'm a white background gal. But if you like a bit more colour, you can create some shadows. So you know how I mentioned earlier that we have the infill stamps, which are these ones. You can stamp them under where you want to pop your little punch out or die cut or whichever set you're using. So if I show you, if I got a piece of scrap, I know I did have a piece of scrap. Not that one, that's the one I've cut up for its size. There we go. So what I mean is if you had, and I can't find the infill I used earlier, but if for instance I had my maple leaf one and I wanted to use smoky slate, I could stamp flat onto the base cardstock with a smoky slate like that, and then offset the maple leaf and you would see the shadow just underneath it. So it sort of highlights the shadow. I haven't done that, but it's up to you which look you prefer. Lots of different options when you do these ones. So next up is popping all of these down. You want to make sure you get good variety so you don't have two acorns next to each other. So I'm going to start off with a pine cone. And you can overlap, you can totally overlap the sentiment. And I've managed to get a tiny little bit of nail polish on here. Normally I gel paint my nails, but they fell off. So I quickly popped normal nail polish on my nails before the live. And then I've just managed to get it on the card. So I'm going to cover it up with a leaf. And these can go in any direction. Okay. And so long as the dimensional is on the card, it doesn't matter about anything hanging over. You're going to have stuff hanging over, that's fine. So for instance, my oak leaf here, I'm going to pop that on the side, and guess what? It's totally going to hang over. That's okay. Just leave it and keep building your card up. And keep going. And just get a nice variety of them. What I will say is when you come to this bit here, which is where I snuck the ribbon over, you want to make sure you've just got a clear gap that you can pop the ribbon underneath. So just watch where the dimensionals go. Just keep building the card up. And which one's next? Which one haven't I used? Used a pine cone there. I don't like to have them all next to each other. I like to have gaps in between. So around here, look, I've got all 5 of them. So no matter what I put in the middle there, it's going to be the same as something else. Typical. Okay, so just keep floating around. So I'm making these cards. There's a really lovely lady who lives opposite us, and it's her son's 50th birthday party. In about 3 weeks' time. She asked if I could make him a nice card. And I remember we went to his wedding, and it was all autumnal. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was a lovely wedding. And everything was it was in the autumn, but everything was browns, and even like the bouquet had acorns and things in. And it's a wedding that I'll always remember because of the colours. It was so lovely. And I thought, you know what? They obviously are very, very into sort of autumn colours. And I know they like walking, so I thought it will be perfect as a special card. And then once I did it, I liked it, so I decided to make a few others. If you get stuck with the mini dimensionals, because they can be quite fiddly, they're packed a lot tighter onto here, I feel, than the main ones are. I sometimes struggle to get them off. You can always use one of our sort of our take a pick tools to get them off the paper. I'm just taking the backs off there already. Oh, Karen, my desk is not this clean at normal times of the year, trust me. It's only this clean since I've started working from home, and I get fed up of having to get it back ready for work on a Monday morning. So plus the fact I've got quite excited. I think I told you last week that I was hoping to move soon, so I started putting things into boxes. If it doesn't work out in a few weeks' time, I'm going to be looking for stuff, and you'll have to message and say you put it in a box. Linda, just for your hands. My husband walked in one time when I was watching your video, and he comments how lovely your hands are. I agreed. Oh, thank you. Thank you to your husband. That's very lovely. I'm always jealous of my upline's hands in her videos. She always has like freshly manicured fingernails, and they always look lovely. So okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've actually finished and I'm happy with where everything is, I'm going to turn it over and just chop off the extra bits that go off the side. Now, I have seen people who have put it onto a different colour cardstock and they've left those bits hanging over. They look quite nice, but for me, I really like it squared with my card. And the ribbon I'm using is this one. It's a duo. It's in the catalogue. I can't remember the name of the duo. It comes with the shaded spruce ribbon, I know that much. Wonder of the Season there. And it's with the thick shaded spruce ribbon that's gorgeous. And then you also get this gold sort of twine with it. So, you know me, I like a faux bow because it's just quicker. And my glue dots. So I'm just going to wrap. I found this a lot easier recently. I pop my twine in the middle of the glue dot. Say I've found it a lot easier. And then I've just took my take a pick tool and I've just wrapped the glue dot around the twine. So it's on all sides. And then I work out where I want the twine. So I kind of want it there, wrap it round, and then I can just stick it straight away. And again, same with this end. Pop it in, wrap it around, and then wrap it and stick it. before I'm going to pop this down, because I do realise that's covered in glue now, I'm just going to pop some of our bigger dimensionals just on those 2 places. And then I'm going to be back to cover the rest of the card in dimensionals at the back. And I'm going to make myself a tiny tiddly little bow. And chop the tails. Grab a glue dot and pop it. Pop it on the ribbon. And then to finish this card off, I'm just going to continue with the dimensionals. I've popped a few on the back because Thin Whisper White, which is what I've used, I think seems to bend if you don't pop it onto a mat before you pop it onto the back of your card. I always worry about it going in the post, so I always put a few extra dimensionals on Thin Whisper White. And then, as I said, you're just lining that up on the corner of the card so it's completely flush, and then sitting it down, and it just gives a little tiny border on the card. Okay, to decorate this one, I've used the champagne rhinestones. This is how many I've got left. That's how gorgeous they are. Oh, and I learned a trick yesterday, to anyone who was watching, by the way. I don't know whether you learned it as well. I've been using my Take a Pick pokey end, I'm sure it's got a proper name, to pick up the rhinestones. But actually, if you use the end that I normally use for sequins, so this bit with the putty, look at that. I can't remember which demonstrator used this trick yesterday, and I thought, I didn't know that. It's so much quicker. Check it out. So I'm just going to pop. Oh, it doesn't seem to work with the big ones. I'm not sure if I've got enough putty on there to attract the big ones. Let's pop me a little bit more. So all you need to do when you just want a bit more is just twist the end, and you'll notice a bit more putty comes out. Oh, it does if you've got the... Yeah, so I'd always been using this end or the palette knife end, but actually the putty end, it worked so quick. And when she did it on her video yesterday, it was Dana Renko from the US that did it. And I saw it and I thought, I'm going to pick that up as a tip to use from now on. So that was that one. And then I also cut out the 2 1/4 inch circle, and I did a 3 inch by 3 inch square. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with these. And decorate them again with everything hanging off. It sounds so weird saying that, doesn't it? But yeah, I was hoping that we could get the same effect just on a smaller piece of cardstock. And then I was going to see how it affects the whole card by just having a small piece on there as like more of a topper. Oh, see you, Shirley. Thanks for joining. So, oh, do you know, where I used to work, we couldn't have nail polish on. And so whenever I went on holiday, I had like bright greens and bright yellows because I was so happy about painting my nails. I had like the brightest colours going. But yeah, we're allowed nail varnish now. And I'm one of these people who talks using my hands. You know, I can't, when I'm trying to describe something, I always just sort of describe with my hands. So I do quite like having nail polish. Yeah, I think this tip's really nice, and I did it with the, you know, the buds out of the Good Morning Magnolia set. I did it with those a few years ago, or as soon as the Magnolia set came out, and I really liked it then. So I think if you're in the States, I've seen it where they've done floating frames, and I think there's a product over there that you can use that's a bit like cling film, and it holds all of the so that you can map these out where you want them. You can stick the, I think, is it called press and seal? You press it down and then you can fold it off and you can pop your dimensionals on and place it back where it was. But we don't have that over here. So it's more just me sticking where I want to stick, basically. A few acorns. Not too many. I find that I don't use that many of the acorns because they're so much bigger. They take up loads of space. So there we go. I think I've got a nice mixture out to go with. Press and seal. Oh, and Janice has said there's one called Glad Wrap. I don't know what it's like. I've never used it. But I do know if you search on YouTube, you can normally find some videos with them. And they seem quite effective. I'm also, by the way, going to do this over the circle as well. Just to see if you've got some spare ones left, what they look like on just sort of little parts of cards rather than on all of it. Just keep sticking. We shall get there. Oh, I've missed one. Oak leaf. Okay. And there we go, I think. So let me just pop those back into their little cupcake holders. So what I mentioned earlier about I've seen some demonstrations with this that have these still hanging off the edge. I've cut a mount to go behind this, which is 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4. So they would have it like that rather than chopping it straight. So I'm going to leave this like this, and you'll have to let me know which you prefer, whether you prefer it chopped straight in line with the card or whether you prefer it hanging over. I'm just sticking that down with some Tombow. And then for this one, I'm going to trim all the way around because it was supposed to be a circle, so I do particularly want it to be a circle that would just look like a window on the card. So I've got a bit of Whisper White cardstock, so I can stick that on there. Okay, where's my well said? I know there's quite a few sentiments over here. I'm going to go and Make Me Smile. I like that one. So it's so much easier when you've lined these up with the front of your set. And you know what, actually, I think I'm going to use, we have the braided linen trim. I'm going to use that with this one because I think it's very sort of naturey. And I'm going to pop the glue dot. Now I've been playing with the nib of my Take a Pick tool. There on the front. Actually, I'm going to pop a couple. Sort of in height to make it a big thick one. I'm just going to run a few bits around that one. And then a bow for the front. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer it where I chopped it, or do you prefer it hanging over the edge, or does it depend on the size that you're actually doing for the panel? I'm not sure. So I've just stuck that with a glue dot and I'm just going to stick that down there. So there's my next card with this technique. And again, I'm just going to pop a couple of dimensionals. Chopped. Yeah, Janice, I'm glad you said that. Oh, Colleen likes it hanging over the edge. Okay. And Karen depends on both on the channel. I think I like it. I think I like it chopped still. But don't worry, I'm going to leave it hanging over the edge. Me and my snips aren't going to like get in there and cut it back off again. I should have said, by the way, that if you're based in the UK and Europe and you're watching this video and you like any of the products I've used, you don't have a demonstrator, they're all available from my website. And you can follow my blog as well. It's slimandstylish.com. And then finally, this one here. And I think I'm going to stick that directly onto the base, which I'm going to turn over because this nail polish has got everywhere. And then I'll pop a sticker over that with my my stamp on it saying Slim and Stylish. So if I go to craft fairs, people know where it's from. And I don't like stamping onto the thick Whisper White base, so I'm going to do Make Me Smile again, but I'm going to do it on thin Whisper White. I think it's much easier to and it feels better, it looks better if you stamp directly onto thin Whisper White as opposed to the thick Whisper White. I don't think it's as good a finish. So snobby Helen over here. I think I'm just going to pop that up there. And that's this card. Done. So polls open. Let me know which one's your favourite. Mine is the full panel. And before I do that, as I said at the start of the video, the one thing I've learned from the weekend is that apparently it's all about stamping the envelopes. So everyone seems to stamp their envelopes, and I just never do it. So our Whisper White C6 envelopes I've got, and I've just stamped. I haven't coloured them up. I'm just stamping all of the outlines in Memento on the back, just as a little collage. And if you fold it directly over that way, I found that you can stamp into the envelope, so you can get some coming through. And then if you come over this way, you can stamp off again. And then which one am I missing? The little flower. And there we go. There's the envelope all stamped. Pine cone. Done. So Colleen says she always stamps on the left corner of the envelope. Oh yes, that's on the front. That would be nice. My cousin also lines the envelope with paper. Oh yeah, you could do that as well. I've seen quite a few people do that. We have a die, I think, for that. I say I think, I know. There's a die in the winter catalogue that cuts it to the exact size of the inside, so you can pop it on the inside. But there we go. 3 cards for the price of 1 today, but all with the same technique. So thank you ever so much for joining. I'll be live again at 4 o'clock next week. If you've liked the project, please do give me a little thumbs up. And if you craft along or you use this technique at all, please do pop your makes in the album over on Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout. If you aren't part of the group, do come and request to be part of the group, and I'll let you in. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll speak to you all soon. Colleen, no, I love that and have to get the die. Oh, is that for the paper? Yeah, I've got it here. Hang on. I do realise it will be a different part code for you, but I'm sure we do one. Yeah, ornamental envelopes. Just there. And the dies are the same size as the inside of the... what page is it? Page 40. I can show it you big, actually. So that you can cut your paper and pop it inside the envelope. There you are. And you can make it all pretty patterned, and it does different size envelopes, so I'm sure it will do your envelopes as well as ours, and as well as the little ones. So because I know we all have different size cards and things. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks Audrey, glad you liked it. Cheers Karen, Alison. See you on Friday. We've got a team party. Woo woo. Thanks Kate. Glad you joined. Oh yes, Sue, they did, and they've been dunked, and they just vanished out of there. I didn't eat all of them, I promise. I did. Thank you ever so much. Cheers everybody. I will speak to you all soon. Bye.